better way. Whole new crib in a better place. Get my people out the hood, we'll see better days. Tell a fan sorry, y'all let them wait. Shit up there like a Saturday. Listen to me how I beat the speed up like a battle.
Yo, what up, guys? This is your boy Kofi with KO Sports Talk, back at with another episode of KO's Sports Hangout, aka the KO Sports Podcast, with my humble host, Chuck Full Damage Miller. The man, the myth, the legend, Chuck Full Damage Miller.
Who's that? Who's that
the number one fan of the Chicago Bears. But before we start this video, guys, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get the latest and greatest updates in regards to Chicago Bears news. But without further ado, let's dive into it. So today was the deadline for teams to franchise tag players, and I believe it was about an hour ago, Ryan Poles put the franchise tag on Jaylon Johnson. And I know we've been talking about this, Chuck, with the whole contract situation, with Jaylon Johnson and his team. They've already negotiated a contract. I think it was about a couple of weeks ago. Ryan Poles, he already gave him a contract offer. And Jaylon Johnson and his team has yet to agree to the contract. And so it was imperative, of course, for Ryan Poles to franchise tag Jaylon Johnson, even though he didn't want to do it. It was imperative for the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles to franchise tag Jaylon Johnson. And other teams, like the Antoine Winfield with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he just got franchise tagged. The Chicago Bears were expected to also look at Christian Wilkinson and Jason Madubuike. Madubuike recently just got franchise tagged by the Baltimore Ravens, and Christian Wilkinson, he's going to hit free agency. That could be another target. But Chuck, I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts about us, with Jaylon Johnson being franchise tagged, and what do you think of that?
Well, good afternoon out here in KO Sports Talk land. Those of y'all know me. Y'all know me as Chuck Full Damage Miller, and I'm the biggest Bears fan that you know. Welcome to KO Sports Talk. Let me just start by saying Ryan Poles was very adamant coming into the offseason about getting a deal done with Jaylon Johnson. This offer's been on the table. They've been pounding it out and hashing it out and working towards it for some time now. So I'm a little bit pressed to see that we're going to a franchise tag mode. Now, that may be more of a timing thing than anything else. Maybe, they were not close enough on the numbers to go on and get the deal done, and time just ran out before the franchise tag thing came along. But I also have to keep in mind, and I don't want to play conspiracy theories on this, but this is the McCaskey-run Chicago Bears franchise. And if anybody knows anything about the McCaskeys, we know that the McCaskeys can be quite tight with their pockets. This can be a cheap organization when it comes to paying players. So as much as I know Ryan Poles, I believe Ryan Poles would love to get this done, and Jaylon Johnson wants to get it over. There's still, I believe that there still has to be the check mark from up above that says, this is a go, or the X that says this is not a go. And right now, I don't think they got the check mark, bro. So yeah, but I think it's definitely a deal that's got to get done. Anybody who thinks that Jaylon Johnson is not worth the money, all you got to do is go back and look at his numbers. According to PFF from last year, he was the number one rated cornerback in the NFL. According
the
to
last 2 to 3 years.
The last 2 to 3 years.
He was one of the top corners, top 5 corners.
And the only thing he had been missing before this past season, only thing he had been missing from his game was the addition of turnovers, with interceptions and what have you. And he added that this
year.
The
pass rush. Yeah, it was the pass rush.
Yeah.
That was only really the problem. Mm-hmm.
So the Bears have got a good one in Jaylon Johnson. This is our Peanut Tillman type of a cornerback, if you will, and you want to lock these dudes up long term so that this doesn't have to be an area of concern for you down the road. You know, but I think the Bears brass, Brian Poles, Kevin Warren, and Matt Eberflus and all these guys, I think they know that this guy is a must have on this defense. If you want this defense to keep thriving and being great, if you want it to keep moving forward, if you want it to keep being dominant, because this team's defense, our team defense was the most dominant defense in the league for the last 8 games of the season, people. Let's not lose sight of that. Number 1 against the run. We tied the San Francisco 49ers with the most interceptions and turnovers in the league, or what have you. And we were giving up minimal points. You're talking about a defense that was taking away multiple turnovers and interceptions every single game. And that can't be understated. That can't be understated. We need this guy on this defense. We need to shore up everything over there, bro.
For sure. I definitely agree, man. Like, we definitely need Jaylon Johnson. Jaylon Johnson, the last two years, he was graded by PFS as one of the top 5 corners, in the NFL. And like I said, like this last year, he definitely proved his worth, man. Like, I know going into the 2023 season, him and his team, of course, were trying to negotiate a contract situation with Ryan Poles. And Ryan Poles, he decided that, okay, I'm going to give you this year to prove yourself, to show you that that you're worth the money. And so going into this year, Jaylon Johnson, I mean, he did kind of go into a slow start, but after the addition with Montez Sweat, he's had 4 interceptions, and like, he's been a lockdown. The guy's been locked down.
Right.
When teams are targeting him, they have a QBR rating of 56.2 when targeting him, and most of the targets that he goes against their number 1 wide receiver, and more than half the time he's always locking them down. Like, he literally cuts the field in half. And like this past year, we tied the league in number of interceptions with 22 with the San Francisco 49ers. And so that was prior to that we were like low in interceptions. Yeah. And so I think we were last in turnovers prior to us getting Montez Sweat. And so with the addition of Montez Sweat, our turnovers went real high. So
yeah, I mean, and you're talking about a defense before the addition of Montez Sweat and the adjustments that was made to get us where we were supposed to be. You're talking about a defense that had 14 consecutive games of giving up 25 points or more. The fact that one piece could make that big of a difference and turn the world around, I'm talking about the addition of Montez Sweat, speaks volumes to where this defense has grown to. It speaks leaps and bounds to where this defense has grown to. Right now, I'm loving the fact that we're attacking this, that Ryan Poles is attacking this, and he's trying to get this done. So that come season's time, all of this is settled, and all of this is out of the way, and nobody's got to worry about whether or not Jaylon Johnson is going to be here long term. Nobody's got to hear that the Chicago Bears are cheap yet again. Nobody got to keep hearing that crap. So yeah. So yeah. I'm loving that they're attacking this, but I got no doubt at this point, Coach, that they'll get it done, bro. They'll get it done. They'll get it done. Where they'll meet at, I don't know, but they'll get it done.
Yeah, and I believe they have until what, July? I believe it's July 18th. Because I think that's
say it again.
Go ahead. Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, I was saying I think they have until July 18th, because I think with the franchise tag up until July 18th, they have up until that time to come to an agreement prior to the season. I know there's like some stipulation. I read it somewhere on Twitter, or not Twitter, but I read it in like a ESPN news article that they have up until I think July 18th or the 19th to come up with an agreement or something.
Right,
but
they have to put it off until after the season.
After the season, yes. And so also, I believe yesterday we're gonna switching subjects, Ryan.
Woo! It's the big news, people. Woo! Let's
Ryan.
go, baby. Let's go.
Yesterday, Ryan Poles, I believe it was around 8:57 p.m. was last night. Ryan Poles traded for Ryan Bates from the Buffalo Bills. Now, Ryan Bates, of course, last year he played center. He didn't start at all last season, but
Okay.
he did play 35 snaps at center this year. And during that time, uh, he didn't give up any sacks. He gave up at least 10 pressures. And then prior to that, he started 15 games last season, or in 2022. So, Chuck, with the addition of Ryan Bates, how do you think he's definitely going to fit into this offensive line? And where what do you think he's going to play, this upcoming season? Is he going to play center? Is he going to play guard? Because, this guy, he's pretty versatile
Yeah.
right now. And so coming into the season, what type of role is he going to play, when he plays for this 2024 season?
I thought you never asked, Cole. Thank you. No, I love this edition of the Bears going to make this trade to get Ryan Bates from the Buffalo Bills. He's a very versatile blocker, guard, I should say. He's pretty much capable of playing. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Cole, but I think he's capable of playing just about all 5 positions on the
Yes,
offensive
yes.
line. And versatility is what the Bears have been trying to get for years. We've always struggled gaining this versatility, and I think we finally have found our guy. As a matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Cole, but Ryan Bates was a guy that Ryan Poles was actually targeting in 2022. He wanted to get this guy back then.
Yeah, he
but
did.
He missed out on him. Buffalo Bills beat him to the punch, and so they were able to grab him over the Bears. But just as is constructed, because let me caution you people, don't think that this is the only move. Ryan Poles is just getting started. He's not done yet with this offensive line. But if the team was to start the season right now, just as is constructed, I think he's our starting center, bro. I think that's what he is right now, because that's where our glaring need is right now. We got rid of Lucas Patrick. We no longer have Cody Whitehair. So we need somebody to plug into that middle. Tevin Jenkins and who is that? Braxton Jones. They're going to anchor the left side. You got Nate Davis and Darnell Wright anchoring the right side. So you need that center piece. Right now, he feels that void. Now, it's of my belief, and I'm under the impression that Ryan Poles is not done by a long shot when it comes to the moves that he's going to make with these draft picks. I think the next move, and this move here, trading the number 5 pick to the Buffalo Bills for Ryan Bates, may speak volumes about the very next chess move that Ryan Poles makes. This move tells me that he's about to trade the number 1 pick in the draft. He's about to trade that pick so that he can get more draft capital. Remember, people, Ryan Poles came into this draft class only having 6 picks. The Bears only had 6 picks in this draft class, and that is not a lot of picks. You generally want 10 to 11, somewhere around 12 picks or what have you, if you can get them in a draft pool. So with only having 6 picks, but having very valuable picks, it makes sense that Ryan Poles now will trade away the number 1 pick to get more draft capital. It just makes sense, people. That also tells me, wait for it, people, Justin Fields ain't going nowhere, people. Because let me tell you all something. I know everybody, we got a lot of people that's fans of going to get Caleb Williams. I have no problem with that. But you got to understand from a draft capital standpoint that Justin Fields will bring back less draft capital than the number 1 draft pick would bring back for the Chicago Bears. If you trade Justin Fields, let's say to the Pittsburgh Steelers or to the Atlanta Falcons or the Las Vegas Raiders or whomever is out here trying to get him, at the best, you're hoping to get a high 2nd round pick, a low 1st round pick. But that's 1 pick for one player, whereas opposed to the number one draft pick, you stand to gain multiple picks, just as Ryan Poles did last year for the number one pick.
You could trade out twice too if you wanted to.
You could trade out so many times, and shout out to T.O. From Real Street Sports Talk. He pointed something out to me that I didn't know existed. But did you know, Coach, that they have points that they rate each draft pick by?
Yeah, they do.
Right, and that's something that's new to me. But he was showing me that the number one draft pick is worth 3,000 points in their pointing system for this. So if you're talking about the number one draft pick, you're talking about a very valuable pick. And for people to give you equal value for that pick, that's bringing you lower picks, they have to pair up other picks. They got to give you multiple picks to meet that draft capital, bro. They need to beat that draft point production.
That's kind of like an auction system. Like you got a product, right? So let's say you have a Ford Mustang, right? And that thing is worth, I don't know, $60,000. You have to match that total matching price in order to meet up with that. That's the same thing with draft capital. You have to make sure you have the equal amount of value with that number one draft pick. And so let's say you have the 12th pick, or let's say you have the 11th pick. That's you have to make sure you equal that total amount of value. You have to have a 12, maybe a 2 35th pick, a 2 42nd pick, or a next year's first round pick to equal that amount of value. And so that's how the point system works. Yeah, they definitely have a point system. And so with this, with the number one pick, depending on which team is going to trade for that pick, whether it be Washington, whether it be the Los Angeles Chargers, that's definitely going to drive up that pick. It's not only just going with us giving away that 5th round pick. That's definitely going to pretty much indicate that Ryan Poles is going to trade that number one pick, because I don't know if you remember, but last year we had multiple picks. I believe we had maybe 11 picks last year, or 10 or 11 picks last year. And prior to that, we had 10 picks in the 2022 season. And so based on Ryan Poles' history, it's all pointing to him trading that number one pick and us keeping Justin Fields.
Absolutely. And people, we're just looking at this from a numbers perspective. We're not telling you that we know exactly what Ryan Poles is going to do. We don't know if he's going to get Caleb Williams. We don't know if he's going to trade Justin Fields. We don't know what's going to happen here. All we're looking at the historical references that Ryan Poles has given us in his draft classes, and we're also looking at the numbers. The numbers say statistically that if he's traded away one of the picks already for an offensive lineman that he wanted 2 years ago, now we're down from 6 picks in his draft to 5. We're down from 6 to 5. And that's not enough draft capital for a team to continue to build on. Every team wants multiple picks because they need multiple positions to be addressed. The Bears not only need a wide receiver, we also need other offensive linemen. We're not done there. We also needed free safety. We just let Eddie Jackson go. So there are other picks that we need to garner. And with 5 picks, you're not going to get all of that done. It's just not enough draft capital to get everything.
I'm gonna pull this up. This is what he was talking about. I'm gonna pull up the drafts. Okay, so this is the chart right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm gonna enlarge it. Can you see it? Can y'all see it?
Yeah, that should be good enough, bro. That should be good enough.
Yeah. So,
perfect.
Looking at this, of course, number one, the number one pick is 3,000. You got Washington, which is 2,600, New England 2,200, Arizona 1,800, and so based on the value, as you can see right here, Chicago has the number one pick, the highest value, which is 3,000.
We also got
Washington 600.
Yeah, we also have the 9th pick, which is 1,350.
1,350.
So So even though we don't have a lot of draft picks, we have very
Mm-hmm.
valuable picks from the way
Mm-hmm.
it was explained to me. We have very valuable picks. So that
Mm-hmm.
makes our draft capital and the advent of being able to trade down from it. It makes it very promising. And you're not going to get more return for a pick than you are the number one pick. That's just logic. That's obvious stuff there. So, I heard some people say, well, we could trade down at 1 and at 9, which is very
Mm-hmm.
doable. I'm not saying that we won't do that. That is a possibility. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, some people were saying we're going to draft Caleb Williams and then we just, grab everybody else or make our trades with the other picks. Well, if you
Mm-hmm.
draft Caleb Williams at 1 right now, and you don't trade until you get to number 9, your draft capital is going to be highly lessened at number 9 as opposed to number 1. If you trade the number 1 pick, teams are going to try to meet the value or exceed the value of that number 1 pick in terms of the point system because they want you to feel compensated because they know if you're not feeling compensated, you're not giving them that pick. And they understand that. If you're not feeling compensated, you're not giving them that pick. And so it would behoove the Bears at this point, I believe, to trade that number 1 pick and go and get whatever draft capital you need. And if you want to trade at 9 and go further down, hey, fine by me. Fine by me. So long as we're able to address all of our needs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ray, you saying that this is too small. What do you mean too small, bro?
I guess he was the draft cap,
Oh,
the
he's saying he
system I
can't
was
see it.
showing
He
him.
can't see it.
Yeah,
He couldn't see
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He
We were
couldn't.
just explaining it. I mean, like, yeah, I know it's kind of small. That's as big as I could make it, but yeah, we're just kind of explaining more so
Sorry
like
about
the
that, bro.
value system. We're
Yeah.
explaining the chart system. So like what Chuck was reiterating based on the value system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on that value system, if you have like the number 1 pick, you have the number 2 pick, teams are pretty much going to have to equal that total amount of value based on that pick. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say, just like we were reiterating, like if you have the number 1 pick, you have to equal or at least make it close to the amount of value that number 1 pick is. So like what we said, if the Chicago Bears have the number 1 pick, they have to equal that total amount of value based on that pick. If they have the 9th pick, they have to equal or total the amount of value based on that pick. And so that's what we were just talking about. I know it was kind of small, I mean, that we're going to break that down for another day. I don't
Right.
want to
That's
go
that's
too
as
much
big
too
as we
much
can
into
get it
detail.
for now.
That's
Yeah.
too much into detail. And I'm trying to understand this too. I don't know too much about it, but I did hear about that, But and like I said, with us, of course, getting Ryan Bates, that's definitely going to help Ryan Poles. That's kind of leaning more towards Ryan Poles trading that number 1 pick. And so based on that number 1 pick, I know Adam Mason and Swifty, they made videos about, Ryan Poles based on like the timeline, with the combine, with teams finishing the combine. It was a very record breaking combine. I don't know if you saw, but based on
Mm-hmm.
the reports, it was a record breaking combine. The wide receivers like blew people out the water. I don't know if you
Yeah.
watched Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy just broke John Ross's record in the
Mm-hmm.
40-yard dash. He had a
They ran a 4.2.
4.21.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
you ran a 4.21, broke John Ross's record. A lot of the defensive line was like going crazy. It was a record breaking combine, and so Chuck, I kind of wanted to also kind of get your thoughts on like the NFL combine. A lot of like these players, going crazy in the combine. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts about that.
Well, the combine is a really good marketing tool, if you will, for players who want their draft stock to rise, who want to be recognized, who want to be considered valuable, and who's trying to sell themselves as a valuable pick to these teams. So, I get why a lot of the players go to the combine. The thing, but the combine, it has kind of its pros and cons. The,
Mm-hmm.
the the thing that I love about the combine is it gives the smaller school players who won't necessarily have the platform to be seen because of the school size that they come from. It gives them a chance to really showcase their talents. If they're invited to the combine, because everyone has to be invited. But if they're invited to the combine, it does give them a chance to showcase their talents. They may be the next hidden gem that the rest of the world didn't know existed until they showed up at the combine. But on the flip side of that, I hate to take it on the racial tip, but I kind of got to take it here. It's almost like an auction block type thing, bro. Like almost like the modern day slavery, if you will, And like I said, I hate to use that term, but it's the best way that I can describe it, because you're measuring, you're getting all these guys measurables by their length and their width and their height and how high they jump and how fast they run and what have you. And this is where you're getting the measurables from. Another downside and that's one thing I've never liked about the combine, because of the auctionisms, if that's a word, the auctionism energy that it gives. Not only that, I've never been a fan of these Wonderlic tests. I think that's crap. I think they really just instilled that to try to dumb down the overly talented African American athletes, and I got to keep it real on here, people. I think that's the whole purpose of that, to try to say that these guys are not as smart as the white quarterbacks or the white players, and so this is the reason why they don't get the captain of the ship role or the quarterback position. So there are pros and cons to the combine, but I think overall, if I'm just looking at it from the talent perspective, I did love what I was seeing from the talent pool that was there, and I also understood why the top 10 upper echelon players that's projected to go high in the draft. I understood why they didn't participate, because you don't want to get hurt trying to impress. Your draft stock is through the roof right now, and if you get injured, there's no telling how that may affect you and your career down the road. You may not even have a career down the road. So if your draft stock is secure, say like a Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams, Drake May, guys, I could understand them not participating.
Malik Neighbors, all those guys,
and Odunze and so on and so forth. There's a million other ones that's out there too. But if your draft stock is low and you're trying to get recognized, you're trying to get teams' attention into drafting you at a higher rate or a higher level, higher round, or if you will, a higher position in the rounds, then it makes sense for you to go to the combine. It makes sense for you to go to the combine game. But yeah, so I got a kind of a mixed bag on the combine, bro. I love it from what it shows you in terms of the talent, but I hate it from the symbolism and what it represents.
Yeah, I guess you could look at that. Yeah, but I think just based on the combine, I think it is a way for players who don't have the exposure to these teams to kind of show out, what they're made of. Yeah, and it's definitely imperative for them to showcase their talents, what they're made of. That's why we have all these events. So at least
correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but I believe this is how Jerry Rice got discovered. Is it not? Through the combine, because Jerry Rice came from a very small school. What was it, Mississippi Valley?
Yeah, came from small. Small school. Yeah.
So nobody knew anything about him. He came out of the HBCU. But for those of you all that's
Walter Payton came from an HBCU too.
Right. These are historically black colleges that we're talking about. And historically black colleges, they're not listed and labeled as these D1 schools, these Division I schools. So a lot of the talent that's in these schools generally doesn't get recognized unless they see them at a combine or someplace like that. But look at what came out of there. The greatest wide receiver of all time, Jerry Rice, Walter Payton. In my estimation, the greatest
running back of all time.
Right. But these guys would not have gotten recognized if they didn't go to this combine. So like I said, it's got good and bad. There are pros and cons to the combine. It's not all bad. It's not all slavery. It's not all, racial tension. It's not like that. Yeah.
And also, based on the combine, that's been happening. I know, like we were saying, Adam Mason and Swifty were kind of predicting possibly these next 2 days for Ryan Poles being close to trading that number one pick. How close do you think, in your estimation, Chuck, how close do you think Ryan Poles is to trading that coveted number one pick?
If I'm totally honest, I think Ryan Poles already had his mind made up eons ago on what he was going to do with this number one pick. Like I shared with T.O. and the fellas that I politic with and dialogue about this over. I think the man was just playing poker. He had just had to keep his poker face on, making everybody think, hey, anything's possible. Let me know what you want to do. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we won't do this. Maybe we'll get Caleb. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll trade Justin. Maybe we won't. I think the man was playing chess, and just keeping his poker face on, so to speak, so that everybody would think it could go either way or the other to keep the value of what he has in his possession. I think he was playing chess to keep that value high so that when somebody does make an offer, they don't feel like that they can lowball them for the value of it because he's already committed to Justin Fields. Also, we know he's not going to get the quarterback, so we don't have to break the bank trying to get this pick from him. We just need to give him something. He wants to fleece somebody, just like he did last year with the Carolina
with the Panthers.
And I don't know another way to say it. That's the word. That's Swifty's word. I'm gonna give shout out to Swifty on that
fleece.
one. But fleecing is the goal when you got the number one pick because you want to make this pick work. It's one pick. We'll make this one pick work and snowball into multiple picks for you so that you can address multiple areas of need. Like I said, the Bears are not done. We have a lot of other areas that we have needs in. We're not done at the center position. I think we need to get one more quality center. I would love for us to get Jackson Powers.
Yes, sir. I want him.
That's my guy. That's who I'm targeting for that. We still need to address the other wide receiver position. I think the Bears are very high on Marvin Harrison Jr. But it depends on what the other two picks behind us are willing to do, which would be the Washington Commanders at 2 and the New England Patriots at 3. If they really want to move up to 1, what are they willing to give us? Because as you saw in those numbers, there's a big drop-off from the first overall pick to the second overall pick. First overall pick is 3,000 points. Second one is 2,600 or something. That's a 400-point swing. So if we're going to give you the number one pick to ensure that you get your guy and you're going to give us number 2, Washington, using them as an example, then you got to give us some other compensation to go along with that. It's not just you give us number 2, we give you number 1. We got to even swap here. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. So we got to gain something from this. Or if it's the New England Patriots, who are number 3, I think number 3 is valued at $1,650. I don't know what the value is on that.
That is value.
But whatever its value is, it's a drop off from that 3,000 point value. And so if they're going to move up to, let's say they want to get Drake May at number 1. They want to ensure nobody else goes and snags him. They don't want the Washington Commanders to get him. Then
New York Giants or whatever.
Right.
Any team, right.
They got
Denver Broncos, yeah.
They got to give us the compensation that is needed to make that move. I'm not going to tell you any lies, Go. I kind of like how Ryan Poles did this last year. He didn't stay in the upper echelon of the teams that were picking, the top 5, if you will, of the teams that were picking. He actually went down to 9 with the Carolina Panthers and made the move and got a veteran number 1 receiver, which is like getting a number 1 draft pick in compensation. And I'm kind of hoping that he can do that again. Now, would I love for us to have Marvin Harrison Jr. over here? Absolutely. No question about it. But if we miss on Marvin Harrison and address all of our needs, Is it hard for me to accept that? Not at all.
We get Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that guy. That guy right there. Males, you out here, bro? That guy. We want your guy. Yeah, but
Can you
instead
imagine Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, that trio right there?
with Justin Fields throwing to him, bro, that would be so nasty. It'd be incredible, bro.
Super Bowl contenders.
Instantaneously, bro. That would be really, really nasty. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at instead of us going after the generational talent, which is what they're projecting Caleb Williams to be. I wouldn't be mad at us going for the generational haul. Let's get 2 years in a row, a generational haul that has changed and warped this franchise like to the likes that you've never seen before. I would love for us to go from the 7-10, from the 3-14 Bears to the 7-10 Bears to the 15-1 Bears,
like 16-1
Bears. Them two, we'll take that. 16-1,
17-game season. 16-1.
I would love it, bro. I would love it. All dreams, people. I know it's all dreams, but it is very doable with the way Ryan Poles is doing things. He's very calculated. Bro. He's thinking everything through. He's measuring every move. This man is smart as they come. This man is making no ill-fated moves. And even if he makes a move and it's not the right move, he has the propensity or the skill set, the intelligence to know how to go and clean it up. The Chase Claypool move ended up being a bad move for us last year. But he ended up cleaning up that move by sending him to Miami and getting compensation on, I believe it was another 5th round pick or something, you know. And then he took a turnaround, and even with the move, forgetting who we gave up to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but we got the 2nd round pick from them. We ended up getting that pick back from them, and then was able to trade it to the Washington Commanders for Montez Sweat. See what I mean? This is intelligence, in motion, people. Ryan Poles is figuring this out. So let me say this, I'm greatly offended, and my sensibilities are offended when I hear these people getting all in the media talking about if he doesn't take Caleb Williams #1, that he's getting fired. His job is on the line.
Yeah, they're saying he failed.
In the world, this man's job would be on the line. How's this man's job on the line? Just because he's doing his job properly and he's thorough and he's thinking about more than just generational talents. A team is comprised of 53 players, people, 22 starters, 11 on offense, 11 on defense. You're not going to win Super Bowls with one guy. You need a complete team out here. And you're not going to get a complete team only running after big names. You got to build a team, a unit. Got to be one body. And people, let's keep in mind, too, everybody's questioning whether or not Ryan Poles knows what he's doing and whether or not his job is on the line. Let's keep in mind this guy was very instrumental and a huge part of what is now known to be a dynasty in Kansas City with the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's keep that in mind. That man was a part of helping build what you are now seeing that you're calling great, that you're calling a dynasty. That man knows what he's doing, people. In Ryan Poles, we trust. And that's where it needs to be.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to this man right here. Major Fields. Today's his birthday.
Hello. Yes, it is. Happy birthday, Mr. Major.
Happy birthday to Justin Fields. But I'm sorry, back to the topic at hand. I had to say that. But back to the topic at hand. I mean, even if Ryan Poles doesn't, even if he doesn't draft Caleb Williams, I mean, I'm telling you, man, all these beat reporters, freaking Adam Hogue, Kaplan, Corny Cronin, all these guys who are saying, "Oh, Justin Fields is close to being traded," because I know we've heard all these reports saying, "Oh, Justin Fields is close to being traded to Pittsburgh Steelers." Justin Fields is close to being traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Even if we don't pick Caleb Williams, it's not the end all be all. Like his job is not on the line. His job, I don't care what anybody thinks. To me, I think this is a win-win situation because
Absolutely.
this is a win-win situation for the Chicago Bears because we got the number 1 pick. We already got a QB who's already proven himself to be a QB1 for the Chicago Bears. Like literally,
Keyword there, proven, people, proven.
He's proven to be the QB1 for this team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. He's not a Pro Bowler. He doesn't have 4,000 yards. He doesn't have, the stats that you want. He's not a all-pro, whatever. But, I mean, he has proven time and time again.
He hasn't had all the tools to work with either, and that matters.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears, the last 2 to 3 years has not given him the tools, in order to be successful, his last 3 years. I mean, look at last year. The last 2 years, he was with a first-time play caller with Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy looked clueless. I couldn't tell you how much clueless he's looked calling these plays. I mean, look at all the situation, like with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He ran 3 straight screenplays. The third one was an interception. The game against the Green Bay Packers, the last game, he put Trent Taylor. He ran a motion set to allow Trent Taylor to freaking block a 6'5", 270-pound man, and you had Justin Fields trying to run up the middle. I mean, like seriously,
well, wasn't that 6'5", 250+ pound man? Wasn't that Rashawn Gary?
Yeah, Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary, yeah, bro. You're not blocking him with a 400-pound guy. How you got little bitty Trent Taylor?
Dude who's like 5'7", 160 pounds, soaking what? Blocking a dude who's 6'5", 260 pounds.
It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
It's freaking ridiculous. And so Justin Fields, you got to give him the tools. If you give him the tools, and he proves himself to be that QB1, great. If he doesn't, okay. Next year we have a first-round pick. We can use it on a quarterback. But you got to have the tools in place. You have to have the tools. You have to have a solid offensive line. He hasn't had that the last 3 years. He's always dealt with the makeshift offensive line, with them dealing with injuries. He didn't have the depth at offensive line. Look at the wide receiver core. His last 3 years, prior to that, I mean, Darnell Mooney was at least his best wide receiver prior to DJ Moore coming. I mean, look. DJ Moore last year, of course, DJ Moore and Cole Kmet were his best 2 pass-catching receivers. I mean, look, you got to have depth at wide receiver. You have to have depth at the offensive line. With us getting Ryan Bates, that's a piece of the puzzle. Us going into the draft, hopefully we'll get Jackson Powers-Johnson, and then adding more depth at wide receiver, more people who can catch the ball, And so.
Right. And let me ask you, you fans this, out there in KL Sports Talk land. Do you think it's fair that the Chicago Bears would ask this man, Ryan Poles and this team, and the organization would ask this man to take it on the chin in their first year here while they go through a rebuilding process, strip the team down, give him absolutely minimal to no help of any sort, offensively or defensively, then turn around and start building the team, and 1 year into the rebuild, decide it's time to go away from this guy? Do you think it's fair for them to come away from this guy and trade him away after they've already asked him to sacrifice for them? I don't think that is fair, and I don't think that makes sense. Everybody wants to throw him away. And here's the killer part for me, Coach. When I look on film, and I'm talking about Caleb Williams and I'm talking about Justin Fields, when I see them play and I see their highlights and I see their the dynamics of both of these quarterbacks, both of them give highlight reels that's unimaginable and unbelievable. I don't see what one is going to give that the other can't give. I don't see anything that Caleb Williams is giving that Justin Fields doesn't give. So if you're switching up, what are you switching up to, and what is the purpose of that? And in the midst of this, let's keep in mind that when we're talking about Caleb Williams, we're talking about potential, people. We don't know what Caleb Williams is going to become at the NFL level. We haven't seen him at the NFL level yet, so we don't know where that's going to go. But when you talk about Justin Fields, you got 3 years of proof here. 3 years of proof that this guy can excel at this level. You're talking about a guy who, for the last 7 games of 2022, put up an average of 25 points a game. 25 points a game for this offense. The offense that didn't have anything but Cole Kmet on it and David Montgomery coming out the backfield. So, and last year, you're talking about a dude who put up 28 points, 26 and 28 points respectively, on a team that went to the NFC Championship game, the Detroit Lions, and lost the first game, which was really a defensive gaffle, more so than anything, in terms of why we lost that game. And in the second game, beat them handily. This guy can play. He can be productive, and you don't need to change the world in order to make things happen. I get what everybody's saying about Caleb Williams being this generational talent. I do see some phenomenal abilities in this guy, and I do think this guy is going to be great in the long run. The question you have to ask yourself, if you're Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, is do we have time to wait on that? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And if you're waiting on that, why? You have to make it make sense as to why you need to come away from Justin Fields. Right now, there is no why there, bro. There is no reason why you need to come away from this guy. This guy's not killing you with turnovers. He's not murdering you with bad decisions on the field. Okay, hold the ball a little bit too long. Yeah.
Oh, they mentioned that Denver Broncos game. What about that Denver Broncos game? What do people say about that?
Yeah, what about it? For 3.5 quarters, this guy was lights out and carrying your team to victory. He had you up 28-7. You've got to bring it home at that point. And this is where our defense was putrid, giving up a 28-7 lead. You gave up 21 plus points.
It was going into the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were in the fourth quarter when that fiasco started, bro. We were in the fourth quarter when that happened. So, it's not that you need somebody that's better, quote unquote, than Justin Fields to get this done. You just need to keep on building around this man. Hey there, little Kof.
No, that's not him. That's somebody else. No, that's not. No.
Okay, he's little Kof today.
No, that's somebody else.
Yeah. Sorry. So yeah. I mean, you just got to make it make sense. If the Bears were dying at quarterback, I would have absolutely no problem us going to get Caleb Williams. But we're not dying at the position, people. Everybody's trying to get us to address a position that we're not dying at. We're good. We not only got Justin Fields, but we also got Tyson Bagent to bag him up. We're not dying at this position. And if it really comes down to it, if we trade down for one, guess what, people? There are a lot of good other quarterbacks in this draft. Say like Jaden Daniels, whose stock is constantly rising.
Yeah, his stock is going up. Yeah, Jaden Daniels, definitely.
Michael Penix Jr., who just wowed them at the combine with his throwing. J.J. McCarthy, who was like 27-1 in his college career in Michigan and just won a national championship. There are other options, people, if we need to go get a quarterback. We're not going to die if we don't have Caleb Williams. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I mean, like, you're not going to die if you get Caleb Williams. Like you said, Jaden Daniels, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, he was wowing at the combine. Michael Penix Jr., he was wowing a lot of scouts with his throwing arm, his throwing motions, and his time to process pre-snap motion and post-snap motion. I mean, you got endless possibilities. And like I said, whatever Ryan Poles makes, I think it's going to be best for the Chicago Bears. And like you said, we just got to trust Ryan Poles and not pretty much be dragged in to the news, what Adam Schefter says, what Ian Rappaport says, all these people, even though some of them are reputable sources, but at the same time,
See
They
this
have
man.
absolutely nothing, and they're not in the room with Ryan Poles. They're not literally in the room with Ryan Poles. These are just rumors. They're not actually sitting down making these hard decisions. They're not in the room with Ian Cunningham. They're not in the room with Matt Eberflus, with all the coaching staff that are around Ryan Poles in order for him to make that decision at the quarterback position. And I was even watching definitely the interview at the combine. Like some of them we're talking to Ryan Poles about it. They're also interviewing Matt Eberflus about it in regards to the quarterback position. And definitely what I liked and what they said is that they say that they're going to look at every avenue, and like what Ryan Poles was saying is that he wants to do right by Justin Fields. That was very telling. And with him saying that, and to me, with him saying that, I think that indicated that he wants to keep Justin Fields because he said that he wants to do right by Justin Fields. In order for the Chicago Bears to do right by Justin Fields, you got to put the tools in place. And I think Ryan Poles definitely knows that. He definitely knows he has to put all the tools in place for Justin Fields to succeed because the last 3 years he didn't have that. And now, with this upcoming draft, with this free agency, I think Ryan Poles is going to do what he can to help Justin Fields succeed for this upcoming 2024 season. Look at the free agency. You got Christian Wilkinson. You got I don't know if they tagged Chris Jones or not, but you got Chris Jones coming in. They just recently released Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs from the Seattle Seahawks. I just read that report.
Jamal Adams?
Yeah, they just released him today.
Wow. That's a big one, people. That's a big fish.
Jamal Adams, Lord
Bone
Cushenberry.
crusher. That's a bone crusher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
go ahead.
Not to cut you off, bro, but let me address that statement that Ryan Poles made, about doing right by Justin Fields. People, this is where you really got to be thorough and do your homework when you hear things that are said out here, because those of you all that didn't see it, there was an entirety of an interview that went on there, and that little excerpt was taken out of the interview, and everybody tried to drum it up and make it be that this was an indicator from Ryan Poles that he was going away from Justin Fields. But if you saw the totality of that interview, and this is why you got to do your full homework, you saw the totality of that interview as I did. What you saw is an interviewer leading Ryan Poles down this slippery slope, so to speak. And what he basically did, he created a hypothetical situation and asked if that was to come up, what would be the process and how would Ryan Poles handle it? Then you got the comment from Ryan Poles talking about taking care of Justin Fields and doing right by him. Okay. But people took whatever little segment that they saw of that and they ran with it, bro. Oh, this means that he's going away from Justin Fields. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It means that you didn't do your homework and you got this much tidbit of information and you're running with it. And you need to be more thorough with your research, So this is why I tune a lot of this stuff out. At this point, I'm just tired of rumors. I was glad to see some action actually start taking place last night with the move that Ryan Poles made by going to get Ryan Bates and trading the 5th round pick and what have you. I was happy to see that because now we finally got something definitive that's going on. It's not rumorish. It's not somebody shaping something so that it sounds like he's doing this or it looks like he's doing that. That's not what it is at all, bro. Excuse me.
Go ahead. While Chuck is out, like I said,
It was
okay. Like I said, they were just leading him down a slippery slope. Like a lot of these reporters were trying to lead him down a slippery slope. But the thing I like about Ryan Poles is that he knows how to get around what these reporters are saying, and he's very methodical about it. It's like, okay, we got to look at the whole situation in its totality. We got to weigh all of our options before we can make a decision. And it's like they just kept pressing him. I'm like, do you think you'll keep Justin Fields? Oh, do you think you would in regards to you keeping Caleb Williams, do you think you'll draft Caleb Williams? In that situation, and like it's like he's able to navigate based on like what the reporters are saying. He was able to answer them the right way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so
And yet, so I, people, for one, I'm full board with Ryan Poles and his decision making. I think this guy knows what he's doing. Matter of fact, I know he knows what he's doing, and I think all of the Chicago Bears fans in this city are going to owe this man a debt of gratitude. They're going to bow down and kiss his ring finger, and some of me may even have to kiss his feet because everybody thinks that they're smarter than this guy, and the only guy that needs to be smart in this situation is him. This guy knows how to build a team, and if you didn't get a glimpse of that from last year, shame on you. Because this guy got us turned around real quick from 3-14 to potentially 10-7 last year. Give or take a wrong move here or there in these other games, we could have had 10 wins, people. We're talking about 10 wins in the first year of the rebuild. In the first year of the rebuild, So
if we didn't like lose, if we won against the Cleveland Browns, if we won against the Denver Broncos and the Lions, we would have been a 10-17, probably going into the playoffs.
Exactly. So it's just a thing where at this point we got to trust this man. Coach, what do you think is going to be or should be his next move? What do you think the next move should be?
I think now that the combine is over, I think the next move is to trade that pick. Because I think this time last year it was around March of 13th. We traded that number 1 pick to the Carolina Panthers for DJ Moore and multiple picks. And so, I mean, my guess, the next move is for him to, see which team is going to flinch, figure out which team is going to flinch and going to give up that generational haul. I think that's the next move.
Okay. What do you think about it? What do you think about us possibly trading with Atlanta, with the Falcons at 8? Because if the Falcons sit at 8,
I think that definitely could be a possibility. Yes, that could definitely be a possibility. I mean, I think they're a dark horse, and I was just even gonna talk about that, with the Atlanta Falcons, because you definitely know with the Atlanta Falcons and like their owner, they're very desperate. I mean, that quarterback situation, with Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder is not great, and so they could be a dark horse and giving up multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, plus that 8th pick. Because like you said, like I said, it's a big drop off from that number 1 pick all the way down to 8. And so, I mean, because like you're gonna possibly going to be giving up on Roma Dunze, possibly Malik Neighbors being out, and Marvin Harrison Jr. So if we're gonna move down to 8, they're gonna have to give up a lot. And so, yeah, man.
And I would say this: I'm looking at the Washington Commanders also at 2. Since everybody's just got to have another quarterback, for the Bears in this draft, and I don't believe for one sec that Justin Fields is going anywhere. But since everybody's just got to have a quarterback, and we do believe that Washington is looking to move on from their quarterback, and these 4,000-yard seasons have become a metric to measure these quarterbacks by in everybody's eyes. I would say the Bears could trade this number 1 pick to Washington to get their number 2, and we'll take Sam Howell. How about that? Sam Howell had a 4,000-yard passing season last year. You want Justin Fields? That's the competition. There's a competition for you with you guys' metric. Bring him over here. He can be our quality backup to Justin Fields, and we can take it from there. Tyson Bagent could fall to 3. Just gotta have a quarterback in this draft, and if 4,000 yards is going to be our metric, people. This guy just had a 4,000-yard season under Eric Bieniemy. I mean, there's your numbers. Come on, people, work with me. I'm just saying.
All right, now we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. Do you have like any final thoughts before we end this stream.
I would just say, people, keep hope alive. In the words of Jesse Louis Jackson Sr. of the Rainbow Push Coalition. I'm gonna put that out there. Keep hope alive. Trust your GM. This man knows what he's doing. He's been making sound decisions since he's been here. I think he's got this figured out, and he's going to get it right. If we can squeeze Marvin Harrison Jr. in the middle of this and still get some haul, I would love it. But if we don't, it's not the end of the world, people. Malik Neighbors is out there. Odunze, he's out there. And then my guy is still out there. Wait for it, people. Malachi Corley. Keep your eye out for that guy. Western Kentucky, people. He is going to be good. He's going to be good. Coach, I think the next time we come on here, we probably should show them some highlights of this Ryan Bates guy, so that they'll know what.
For sure.
Yeah.
I will.
That's all I got.
Okay, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna give some of my final thoughts. I mean, don't fall for the narrative, man. Don't listen to what Ian Rappaport has to say, Adam Schefter has to say. Follow what the man Ryan Poles has to say. Let Ryan Poles cook. Let Ryan Poles do his thing, because I trust him. Chuck trusts him, and we got to get behind him. We got to trust. We got to see which team is going to flinch, see what team is going to show their hand, because once they show their hand, man, all bets are off when we get that generational haul, man. And that's all I got to say, guys. But I'd like to thank all you guys for coming to the KO Sports Hangout show. And like I said, make sure to like and subscribe for my content, and also stay tuned for my mock draft. I'm going to be releasing that later on today. I'm going to be releasing the first part of my mock draft, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, guys, like how we always end it here.
Chicago up, bear down. Boom. Let's go, draft.
That's why I'm trying to make a better way. Whole new crib in a better place. Get my people out the hood, we'll see better days. Tell a fan sorry, y'all let them wait. Shit up there like a Saturday. Listen to me.